I think a large lesson that I've learned recently is how much people are willing to help. Like if you just
Yes.
reach out, cold call, email, and
Yeah.
once they see you, and they're like, people help just for the sake of helping, really.
Yeah.
And I've
Because
realized that through ACI, honestly. Hi, and welcome to this month's episode of Engineering Greatness, an original podcast series produced by the American Concrete Institute. I'm Vanya Ranakhan, a student at the University of Washington, located in Seattle. With me today is Madonna.
I'm Madonna Saad. I'm a recent graduate from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. I currently work at Royal in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Welcome to the podcast. Let's begin by discussing why we chose to attend the universities that we attended.
Sounds good. I attended the University of Louisiana at Lafayette because it was very close to my house at the time of graduation. And my sister actually attended for civil engineering. So I was following the path that she created for me. So I ended up going to civil engineering after my dad. He worked in petroleum and he graduated from mechanical. So he told us like you have to like if you're gonna go into engineering, you have to pick like which one you want to pursue because there's a lot of options. And my sister went for civil engineering, and that's when I found out about civil engineering in more depth than I had previously known. And I've come to like it. And that's whenever I joined. What about you?
Oh, that's awesome, honestly. I no idea what that's like having engineers in the family. I'm the first engineer in my family
That
that's
is
not married in.
awesome.
Yeah, I would have loved to have a engineering role model.
It is it's like good. And then there's also like there's so much like like stakes. Like you gotta
Yeah.
prove it that you're gonna make it in. You gotta compete, but also like in a loving way, you know?
No, of course in a loving way, but also like if you don't make it, it's kind of tough.
Yeah, no, they're definitely like already know how it is. So whenever
hmm
you talk about things that you struggle with, they can either guide you or they can tell you like, oh yeah, that took me like a day to understand.
Oh
So
no.
it's okay. I like it, and it's definitely very like I forgot the word, but I was gonna say it's very admirable. It's very admirable to like be the first one in the family to be able to like pursue that. You're like making history now.
I'm currently making history right now. Yeah. Once I graduate, I
And
have
you're very involved. So that's really good.
you are very involved.
Oh my God. We'll get to that. But how were
Yeah.
your experiences in college, or what are your favorite courses and things that you found interesting so far? Because I know you're about to be graduating soon.
Yeah, it's right around the corner in a few months.
It
I will
is.
graduate with my Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering. Oh, I'm really excited for that. In all honesty, these 4 years, I have learned the most, not from a class, but from my extracurricular involvement. And I've always been very involved, as I know you are too. My biggest involvement being in ACI, but right when I got into the University of Washington, I spent like 2.5 years working as a structural lead in a rocketry team. And then I moved to ACI and I jumped into the president role after like a month or so of being in it, which was I ready? No, but that's okay. That's okay. But I've learned so much from both those roles and the rocketry team and ACI. I I think it was honestly a privilege to be given that position in ACI because I was like kind of put under a lot of pressure and it forced me to grow as a leader and as a concrete wizard of sorts.
I guess I did see that you guys called it the pocket rocket. Is that what it was called?
Pocket Rocket, yeah, I had nothing to do with choosing that name.
But that sounds cool. I saw that and I was like, that is one of the most interesting things ever because I feel like in civil engineering, a lot of people go for like large structures and they don't go into the actual like industrial structures and things that are like more like guided towards mechanical engineering and aerospace engineering, like a rocket. So I thought that was very interesting. I also had a similar experience. I was in ACI for like, I want to say like a week to 2 months, like somewhere in between that. It was very random, but my sister's in ACI and the chapter was very small whenever I was joining because it was right after COVID. And I ended up being the last one in the club because everybody was graduating. And so
Oh
it
no.
was the last few members that really like experienced the ACI experience from before COVID. And so they're just like, we need someone to take over. And would you be interested? I mean, like if you're not interested, we're gonna have an actual like issue trying to find somebody. And I was just
Mhm.
like, of course I am.
Aw.
This is like gonna be my first like major role.
Mhm.
Well, it was one of my first major roles. And they told me that same, like it was during elections week. We have an elections week at our university for civil engineering clubs. And the person in charge of that said, usually if you're in charge of ACI, you're in charge of the concrete canoe team. And so they're just like, are you interested in that as well? Because no one's taking it over yet. And I was just like, let me do it. Let me do
That's
it.
a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot because I had like a very involved year that like during that election, I knew like I put a very large load on myself.
Mhm.
I ended up becoming the ACI president, the ASE vice president, the Chi Epsilon National Honor Society vice president, the Concrete Canoe captain, all in the like elections happened and and that was the Institute of Transportation Engineering secretary slash treasurer at the time, and that was all like in the same year. So there's a lot of pressure happening, and just like because ACI was like I feel like it was like a building it back up type of moment. So it was able to like eventually get to the point where we could compete last year. And I was so excited about that. I was pushing for that so much. And convention was awesome. Um, I got to meet people from Korea and I met some people from Canada and it was just awesome. And I got to present, and I know you presented as well. We're in front of like all the other student chapters. How was that?
Can we get to that in a little bit? I would like to touch on something that you
Okay.
mentioned earlier, actually.
Yeah,
I know you were incredibly involved in
yeah.
engineering organizations in school. How were you able to manage all that involvement with your coursework? Because I personally struggle a lot with that.
I definitely struggled. I think it came down to like how badly do I want to be involved in everything at the same time? Like it I had to like manage my time a lot better. Um, I was at some point I felt like I was struggling with a few things and my board members for ACI helped a lot. We did some fundraising. We did like a pet a pup fundraiser and it just took like a bunch
Petapop?
of people. Oh my God, it was so cute. You get all your puppies and you guys like you they make donations to pet them. And we made
Oh,
$200 in like 2 hours.
oh my God.
It was so cute. And so we did Pet a Pup. We did like a few other like raffles. Um, I like to think of myself as a donation wizard whenever it came to school donations. So we used to get a lot of gift cards. Thankfully, we had like really good sponsors. And even when we went to convention, we didn't like we basically started from the bottom. So when we went to convention, our school was very supportive. Um, the president of the engineering department, his name is Dr. Ahmed Khattab, and he is awesome. He helped me like with my team. They actually donated enough for me to book our car and to book our like hotel rooms to be able to compete last time. And that was major. So you have to have like a good support system with whatever you do. And I feel like you're handling it pretty well. I know like my advisors were also very helpful to like make sure like I had enough time to do both. So I talk to my professors and tell them like, hey, look, I have this going on, and I'm gonna like be away for like a few like hours or a few days to try to get like either this competition done or like go to make sure this event is going well, make sure my responsibilities are in order. And I'll come back and finish my work and get everything done. Just make sure to like communicate. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
major for like your board members, your advisors, for yourself too, like just to make sure you're not losing your mind with everything. But it takes a lot of understanding from other people. And that's what like really like makes it worth it because they understand why you're trying to do it and what matters to you. So I feel like you're getting a good hang of it. You guys were able to like make it to a whole convention under your like assistance and stuff. And I think they called you the concrete wizard, is what they call
No, that I don't go by the Concrete Wizard.
it.
I
Okay.
can't take that name. That name belongs to another person.
Okay.
I'll create my own name in a few years once I do become a bit of a whiz.
I love that. I know you did research recently. Can you tell me some more about that?
Yeah, research is actually how I first got into concrete. So
Mhm.
during the summer between my sophomore and my junior year, I was looking for an internship, of course, as one typically does. And I was given two opportunities. I would I was able to either go into transportation or take a research position at the University of Washington.
Mhm.
Now, if you looked at both of them on paper, the transportation one would have just been a great choice. The pay was higher. It seemed more of an extravagant job. It was official, good company. And then there's research at a university, which is usually, from what I hear, people's other students like last choice. They want an internship first. But there was a bit of a pull there, which I can't put it into words. I don't know what it was, but when you just feel kind of like you have to go one direction rather than another, even though the facts don't really line up.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened with the research. I was research in looking at a different cementitious material, looking at CSA, calcium sulfoaluminate, for bridge decks, and I had no previous concrete experience before that. So that was my first time really getting into it, being in the lab, and I absolutely loved it. Did I know what I was doing? No, but I did learn.
Love that. No, but that's understandable. When you start off, you're just trying to learn. And I feel like research sometimes is a good path for just discovering like new information and learning at your own pace in a way.
hmm
And being able to like look into things deeper if you're the type of person that wants to like know more information and wants to like know why. Like that's the kind of thing that research usually pulls you into. And that is so like cool. You get to do what you like. And the fact that you have two options also makes it like more interesting. You get to like really feel where you want to go in a way. Like I know it's unexplainable, but it's like you kind of knew deep down that that's what you want to pursue regardless of all the other facts, and that's what makes it really cool. Did you guys end up like having any insane discoveries or anything, or like what was the result of your testing? If you want, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but
Yeah, I can mention it real quick. So the results were CSA sets up crazy fast. It's super strong, so we like it. But at the same time, we got to optimize the mix design so that there's enough air. Air was a big problem for us.
yeah.
So it was just a lot of trial and error with the mix designs, trying to get strength we needed with with a good amount of air. Yeah, I was doing research for about a year on that project until and I pivoted into more of a construction job as a project slash field engineer. And I did that because when I was in the lab that year doing research, I loved it, but around me, all I saw were structural engineers doing this research. And in my head, I was like, I don't want to go into structural engineering. I don't enjoy looking at the code all the time. So I tried construction for the summer, and I actually just quit that job like a week ago. So it went into the school year. And the reason I quit it is because I decided that I can't just like turn my back on concrete research like that. Like I absolutely
Yeah.
adore it. And in my head, while I don't necessarily want to be a structural engineer, I need to know structures pretty well to understand concrete. So it's just like one of those things where it's like it goes hand in hand. So to
Yeah.
get the end result I would love, I have to kind of climb over this mountain of structural engineering. So I will be doing more research very soon. What project? It has yet to be determined, but I hope to present it in Toronto.
That is very interesting because I was just looking at that email yesterday because there is the abstract for the Toronto conference, which I'm going to mention it real quick that it's due on January 11th, and I was going to try to apply, but I've actually worked on some projects with head wall design and like pile caps, just briefly like redoing calcs or doing calcs from scratch or just trying to check the rebar and like stuff. So I was going to like double check with my company first if I could like talk about it, but I was actually excited to see if I could do that as well. And it's in Canada, so it's like 10 times cooler. but
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that sounds
but
awesome.
yeah, I would if you do it and I do it as well, I hope to see you there
We'll get
because
lunch.
that would be awesome. And so yeah, research is a lot of effort and it takes a level of concentration and wanting to actually do it. So the fact that you went back meant like a lot. Um, I never did research. The only research I did research for my competitions for mortar workability and concrete, like
Mhm.
canoe, but I never ended up going to like materials research in depth with a professor or anything. But I've always found it very interesting. I think for us in the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, um, they did like mostly there's like a influx of I don't know if I'm using that word right. There's like a very large amount of water resources and transportation projects that were being funded. So it was not as common for structural to like have a bunch of grad students doing their projects. But we still had some. My advisor was one of the structural professors. His name's Dr. Lee, and Dr. Lee was awesome. After we went compete in ACI, he was prepared to like be there and show up and do what he needed to do. And he was very supportive. So I'm glad to have that. And at work, I get to experience like just redoing things that I've learned in class and getting to do some structural designs, following books and making sure I do
Mhm.
them the right way and just making sure like I'm learning as much as I can from that experience. Um, I actually ended up having two internships whenever I was a student, and I got hired by my second internship. My first one lasted 7 months. It was at Hewlett and Associates, and it's a very well-known structural company in Lafayette. They do a lot of like bridge projects and just very wonderful people. I was lucky enough to have wonderful people guiding me in both of my internships. Um, my second internship was at Royal Engineering, well, currently Royal, and they do a lot of like water control structures, which includes like head walls and you know things related. And they do a lot of coastal restorations. So it just kind of everything tends to work out. I get to experience everything at the same time. They have like architects, they have engineers, they have civil engineers, they have construction managers, they have everything. So I'm like excited to get the chance to like experience everything because I don't get like really held back. um very supportive, and like if I wanted to do like something related to like water control, I can try that out. Or if I wanted to do something related to like I want to say like a while ago I did a taxiway design for an airport.
Sounds
It was
awesome.
it was one of the more like not regular things that I've experienced. I've been working like as a graduate engineer for about, I want to say like 7 months now. And I was a student intern for about like 9 months. I was just excited. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to graduate. I got my bachelor's of science in civil engineering with a minor in mathematics. So I was just like, I just hope I land a job. And
Mhm.
then when I graduated, I was so stressed. Like right before I graduated, right before finals, I was stressed that I wouldn't have a job. And then I ended up with two offers, and I was like, oh my God, this is everything. And now I get to work on all these different projects, and get to experience things and participate with like my coworkers and learn from them. So that's what I really wanted. And like working as a young professional and a young adult, being able to like experience things and grow into like the person my mentors are, like showing me that they are, and like helping me grow into that. I was gonna ask you, what other clubs, well, I don't know if you did join any other clubs, or if you are interested in doing any future competitions. Were you interested in concrete canoe as well?
I was not in concrete canoe. ACI, it it's where I started, it's where I'll end it. Like ACI
Yeah,
forever.
I understand. I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
So I'm looking down the list.
I can keep talking about it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's up to you. I was gonna ask you if you want to talk about like advice for younger professionals, or if you like, we can get back to that after if you have something. Or
I know I have friends that are really stressed out right now, saying that all they want is a job offer.
the stress is real. I was only stressed because I had finals, and I felt like, because my internship, like I wasn't sure if they were gonna ask me, and then when they asked me, I was so excited. I was
Mhm.
like, oh my God, this is it.
Yeah.
But but I would say if you are not in a current internship, or if you haven't had internships before, I would aim into like emailing and calling.
Mhm.
I would apply on websites, but if you are like new to the process, I would definitely call companies, ask the opportunities. Most of the time, people are not calling to ask for a job, and they're just applying online, or if they don't see a like position online, they just don't fall through with it. But you can always call, email, get a contact, try to like present yourself out there, because you're going to be one of the only people that go that far into presenting yourself. Both the jobs I've had were both like either I met them in person, or I called and then I emailed whoever the like person I called told me to contact. And I sent them my resume. I sent them all the things I'm involved in, all the things I'm interested in. Like I'm interested in a variety of things. I told them I am interested in so much, and I just want to learn. I feel like that's a major aspect of it. Like you have to want to like grow and learn, and you have to let them know, because the more you are interested in doing that, the more potential you have. Um, and involvement is like huge. Most of the time, I know you guys are at that point where you're stressing and you're about to graduate, but there's so many companies out there. There's so many opportunities. You just have to like reach out and like grasp it, and like let them know like, hey, like I'm here and this is what I
Mhm.
can offer. And if you can offer me something, and you just have to contact multiple the companies, because the the issue with this type of stuff is like whenever you contact like one company, there's always a chance they won't contact you back. But if you land that interview, you will have a large chance of keeping the job, because most of the time they know they want to hire you before you have the interview.
Oh.
like if they contact you back. So just send out emails to like all the companies that are in the field of work that you want to do. And once you get that email back that you're going to land an interview, just do that interview, prove that you're here to do a good job. And, I'm pretty sure you guys all got this worked out. And if you do research or if you do extracurriculars, it's very good. Um, and if you're planning to take the FE exam, that's also a very good step to take because
Mhm.
most companies look into your licensing and like if you're planning on licensing. And if you don't have it yet, you can just let them know that you are planning on taking it, like you scheduled it, or like just let them know like it's part of your plan if that's what you want to do. And that might help a lot with also getting a job because they want you to grow into a professional engineer at one point. So it's very helpful. I don't know if you have like questions related to that that I might have not covered, but
No, no, that was great. I think a large lesson that I've learned recently is how much people are willing to help. Like if you just
yes.
reach out, cold call, email, and
Yeah.
once they see you and they're like, people help just for the sake of helping, really.
Yeah.
And I've
Because
realized that through ACI, honestly, because
yeah.
during the excuse me, during the last competition, the one in Philadelphia, we were adamant, my team was adamant about making sure we got sponsors because we are a fairly new team. We're looking
Yes.
to get sponsors for monetary support, of course, but anything else as well would help. So a huge
Yeah.
sponsor that we bagged was Patagonia, otherwise known as Patagucci. And I'm currently wearing our shirt that's from Patagonia. But
That's
we never
awesome.
yeah, I know it's awesome. It's kind of a funny thing. We who would have guessed Patagonia? Like, if you would have asked me before we reached out, I'm like, it's probably like a 1% chance they help us out. They helped us out. Yeah. Just for the
Yeah.
sake of helping us. No, so I would agree with you. Like, if you can just reach out, you don't expect anything, but reach out to more people, anyone you can. No, someone's gonna call back. Someone wants to help, honestly.
Yeah. And a lot of these connections that you can make are from these conventions. So ACI convention last year, I got to meet so many people. It has helped me a lot. I actually met like the past president of ACI New Orleans chapter, or I guess Louisiana chapter. Um, at one of the events that I went to, and she has been an awesome like role model. Um, she like would help me like she actually let me tour the company whenever I was like right before like graduation and stuff with my teammates when we went to compete in New Orleans, and they were awesome. And for ours, I don't actually know the company you're talking about, but for us, we have a company that tends to sponsor a lot of things in our university, and it's called Gainies. And they have been so supportive. I guess that's our that's our Patagonia, I guess. I think
Maybe.
that's how it is. That's how it's pronounced. But yeah, they're the like Lafayette support, I guess, for us. And it meant a lot to have that support. So I would definitely encourage companies to keep sponsoring, to keep being involved, and things like engagement with your like board members from other student chapters so you can make like projects together work, or like events together, or like even with the like state chapter helps a lot to like keep you connected, get you some sponsors, get you some like connections to network, and just keep everything flowing and connected with the other chapters that they're also helping. Thanks again for joining us, and thanks to everyone for listening to this month's episode of Engineering Greatness. Join us each month as ACI brings together pairs of young professionals in the concrete industry to engage in intimate conversations about their life and work. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And for more information on the American Concrete Institute, visit us online at concrete.org. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.